Imagine with me a scorching desert 350 miles south of Cairo, one of the oldest sacred sites on earth. Here in Abydos, the holiest city of ancient Egypt and the cult centre of the god Osiris, lies a structure so bizarre that Egyptologists have struggled for centuries to explain it. It's called the Osireion, and for most of the year it sits flooded with dark greenish water that refuses to leave. Archaeological teams have brought industrial pumps capable of removing 500 gallons per minute, yet the water level never drops. It replenishes as fast as they can pump it out, rising from somewhere deep beneath the floor, as if some ancient mechanism was switched on thousands of years ago and never turned off. But here's where reality starts to crack. When researchers measured the temperature of this mysterious water, they discovered something impossible. The surrounding groundwater in the desert sits at a stable 16.9 degrees Celsius, perfectly cold as expected. But the water inside the Osireion measured 23.8 degrees, significantly warmer. Something beneath this 100-ton granite structure is actively heating the water, which directly violates the second law of thermodynamics. Heat cannot spontaneously transfer from a colder body to a warmer one, which means there's an unknown energy source hidden somewhere below. The chemical composition and isotopic profile of this water matched neither the Nile nor any known local aquifer. This was water from a deep unknown source, under anomalous pressure. And here's something that will blow your mind. The lead archaeologist who spent decades studying this site began drinking the filtered water. He had suffered from nearsightedness his entire life, but after years of working in the Osireion, his vision began improving, confirmed by medical tests. He no longer wears glasses. This isn't just warm water, this is anomalous water from a technology we cannot explain. To reach the Osireion, you must first pass through the Temple of Seti I. The walls here are covered with the most exquisite delicate reliefs in all of Egypt. Thousands of images of gods and pharaohs, hieroglyphics so sharp they look freshly carved. This represents the pinnacle of New Kingdom Egyptian art. But then you exit behind the temple and everything changes. You descend 15 feet into a colder, darker world, and suddenly the delicate limestone disappears. Before you stand walls of cyclopean pink granite blocks weighing 60 to 100 tons each, the weight of 150 cars or a blue whale, transported from Aswan 200 miles to the south. These blocks aren't roughly stacked, they're precisely fitted with interlocking cuts that modern engineers would envy. We see this technology in Peru at Sacsayhuaman, but never in Egypt. And the strangest thing of all, these granite walls are completely blank. Not a single hieroglyph, not one pharaonic cartouche, not a single image of any god. Pharaohs signed every stone they placed, covering everything from temples to obelisks with their marks. These walls are clean, as if the builders existed before the gods themselves. The archaeological verdict is clear. The Osireion predates the Temple of Seti. The pharaoh didn't build it, he found it. he discovered this ancient, inexplicable water-flooded megalithic structure and was so awestruck he built his own temple beside it as a tribute. Researchers including geologist Dr. Robert Schoch found evidence of water erosion on the outer limestone walls, deep vertical grooves left by millennia of torrential rain. But when did Egypt last experience such rainfall? The answer is over 10,000 years ago during the African humid period when the Sahara was green. The Osireion was already standing then, older than the first dynasty of pharaohs, older than the pyramids, older than writing itself. What civilization possessed this technology, and where did they go? The Osireion gives us a clue: water. It's obsessed with water, fighting it, generating it. Perhaps the answer lies not in the desert, but by following the water north to the coast. For centuries, legends persisted about cities that served as Egypt's gateway, cities that actually predated Alexandria itself. Greek historians wrote of Canopus with its lavish festivals, Menouthis with its healing temples, and above all, Thonis, which the Greeks called Heracleion, a fabulously wealthy metropolis and Egypt's main customs port. French underwater archaeologist Franck Goddio believed these cities weren't destroyed, but rather drowned. In the 1990s, his team deployed cutting-edge technology. Proton precession magnetometers detecting magnetic anomalies the size of coins beneath meters of silt, side-scan sonar mapping the seafloor acoustically, and sub-bottom profilers penetrating sediment layers. For years, though, they found only mud. Then, in 2000, the instruments went wild about 6.5 kilometers offshore. Beneath thick sediment there were straight angles, walls, something massive and definitely man-made. Divers descended into zero-visibility waters, crawling blind through green murky soup. One diver's hand plunged into soft silt and touched something hard, something worked and smooth with carved lines. The lines became patterns. The patterns became hieroglyphics. He pulled back and illuminated the darkness. A giant, perfectly preserved granite face stared back at him, a 16-foot statue of the god Happy, drowned in his own element. They had found Heracleion. What followed was honestly staggering. Hundreds of colossal statues, 16-foot figures of pharaohs and queens dressed as Osiris and Isis, giant red granite sphinxes, the ruins of the great temple of Amun, described by Herodotus, ritual instruments, a black granite stela with tax decrees proving the legend was real, hundreds of gold coins, bronze weights, limestone sarcophagi containing mummified animals, and in the old harbour 64 ancient ships deliberately arranged and sunk beneath stones and temple debris. Nearby they found Canopus and Menouthis, also drowned. Then they turned to Alexandria itself and discovered Cleopatra's palace beneath modern fishing boats. Her statues, her father's statues, mosaic floors she walked upon, and the collapsed ruins of the 400-foot Pharos lighthouse. The entire ancient coastline had sunk. Cities built on unstable Nile Delta sediment, weighted down by colossal temples and statues, were liquefied by massive earthquakes, particularly the magnitude 8.5 Crete earthquake of 365 CE that sent mega tsunamis across the Mediterranean. The ground turned to liquid soup, and everything simply dropped through. We lost not just cities, but knowledge. The great library of Alexandria wasn't entirely destroyed by Caesar's fire. It actually survived for centuries until religious purges systematically annihilated it. Some theorize the burning was a cover operation, while the most valuable texts were secretly transported to Rome and eventually the Vatican's sealed archives, which hold 85 kilometers of shelves containing texts no independent historian has seen in 500 years. One fragment of this lost technology survived. The Antikythera Mechanism, recovered from a Roman shipwreck in 1901, contains at least 30 precision-cut bronze gears with differential transmission we didn't reinvent until the 15th century. This analog computer modelled the cosmos, tracking the sun, moon and 5 planets, predicting eclipses years ahead, even accounting for the moon's elliptical orbit. It almost certainly originated from Alexandria's Osireion. If they could build this in the 1st century BCE, what could they build 1,000 years earlier? And who was the last guardian of this knowledge? Cleopatra VII, the last pharaoh whose drowned palace now lies beneath the waves, taking her secrets with her. This exclusive historical analysis comes from S Historia, so join our